Let me welcome you to this lecture. We have now discussed chemistry of complexes formed by two pi-acid ligands, that is the carbonyl ligand, and then we discussed about the about complexes formed by the nitrosyl ligands. And now we will discuss about complexes formed by another important pi-acid ligand, that is the dinitrogen ligand. So dinitrogen. So as such, the chemistry of dinitrogen or the complexes formed by dinitrogen are of quite interest. The reason is the involvement of dinitrogen metal complexes in biological nitrogen fixation as well as in the Haber-Bosch process. So the biological nitrogen fixation, that is the atmospheric nitrogen getting converted to ammonia. The reaction is the nitrogen from atmosphere is essentially reduced to ammonia. So, and also H2 is produced in the same reaction, and this ATP is converted to ADP. So the nitrogenase enzymes essentially act as catalyst in this reaction of where the atmospheric nitrogen is converted into ammonia. That is two equivalents of ammonia here. So the cofactor or the enzyme, the active site in this enzyme has been already characterized and it has been crystallized and it has been determined. The structure of this enzyme has been determined, and from there what has been learned is that it has the active site essentially contains a iron molybdenum sulfur cluster, and that is what acts as the catalyst in this case. So this reaction essentially what is thought is that a metal dinitrogen complex is involved in this reaction in the reaction pathway, and that is why the chemistry of metal dinitrogen complexes essentially found interest. One more reason why these dinitrogen complexes are essentially studied is again their involvement in the Haber-Bosch process, which is again conversion of nitrogen to ammonia. Now this is chemically it is done, that is by combination of N2 with H2 giving us ammonia, and in this case a iron or ruthenium catalyst is essentially used, and the reaction is carried out between a very high pressure as well as very high temperature. So for the conversion of nitrogen to ammonia, that is a chemical conversion of nitrogen into ammonia, it usually takes place at very high pressure and temperature, and the catalyst that is used is either a iron catalyst or a ruthenium catalyst. And again in this case as well, the reaction cycle is essentially involves metal dinitrogen intermediates, and that is why one needs, or if we can isolate metal dinitrogen complexes, which can be later where nitrogen is essentially activated and then it can be later converted to ammonia, is an important research goal. And let us now discuss about the dinitrogen complexes and then see if how one can possibly achieve this. So the dinitrogen ligand, that is N2, if you look at the electronic configuration of nitrogen, you see it contains 5 electrons in the valence shell, and there are total 10 electrons are there in the dinitrogen molecule, that is 10 valence electrons are there. Similarly, if you look at the carbonyl ligand, again you will find carbon has got 4 electrons and oxygen has got 6 electrons in the valence shell, and again there are total 10 electrons in the carbonyl ligand. So both dinitrogen and carbonyl are essentially isoelectronic in nature, and we can also take the nitrosyl ligand to be again isoelectronic with the both carbonyl nitrosonium ligand, that is NO positive, is isoelectronic with carbonyl and as well as with dinitrogen. So one may think that the chemistry of dinitrogen complexes should be similar to what the chemistry of carbonyl as well as with the nitrosyl ligands, uh, or complexes formed by the carbonyl or nitrosonium ligand, but that is not always the case, because the number of dinitrogen complexes prepared so far is very less. It is just maybe little above 100 the number, while enormous number of metal carbonyl complexes have been so far isolated, while quite a good number of nitrosonium complexes are also known. The reason why there are less number of dinitrogen complexes have been synthesized so far, or the reason why it is difficult to prepare dinitrogen complexes, we will be able to understand only when we discuss about the molecular orbital diagram of dinitrogen, and that we will do during this lecture. Now, before we go and discuss about that, let us see how one can prepare dinitrogen complexes. Now, the first dinitrogen complex was prepared in 1965 only, and it was prepared accidentally, or one can say it was prepared serendipitously, that is, it was not prepared by design and it formed only accidentally. The compound was isolated. So it was a group of LL and SONF that they did a reaction with ruthenium trichloride and did this reaction with hydrazine hydrate. Now, they essentially wanted to prepare hexaamino ruthenium complex, and they wanted to isolate it in lower oxidation state. They wanted to reduce the ruthenium center by using the hydrazine hydrate as a reducing agent, and at the same time using it as a source of ammonia. And they thought, this reaction should give them ruthenium hexaamine 2 positive. But that was not the case, and instead of the desired product, what they obtained is a ruthenium dinitrogen complex with 5 amine ligand. So that is how the first metal dinitrogen complex was prepared. Accidentally it was, and also after this initial preparation, several preparative methods for preparation of this particular complex has been developed, and we will now see how one can prepare other metal dinitrogen complexes. And these different methods of preparation of dinitrogen complexes can again be categorized in 3 different types mainly. The first type of reaction leading to the formation of metal dinitrogen complexes involves direct reaction of metallic salts with dinitrogen in highly reducing environment. That is, one starts with let's say phosphine ligand, and one can reduce this compound by using alkali metals. So here sodium mercury is used, and if you do reaction in presence of dinitrogen, then one can prepare a dinitrogen complex, that is cis. So this is what is formed after you do reduction of this precursor complex with sodium under dinitrogen atmosphere. You can reduce the metallic center and as well as substitute the chlorides by using the dinitrogen ligand. Two dinitrogen ligands are present and they are both cis in nature, and while the number of phosphine ligand that was present initially has now increased to 4. So that is one of the way how one can prepare the metal dinitrogen complexes by reducing metallic salts in presence of dinitrogen. Even like we have seen in case of preparation of metal carbonyl complexes, here also alkyl aluminiums can be used as reducing agent. And one example where you can see that how one can use alkyl aluminiums as reducing agent is, you can start with molybdenum acetyl acetonate and then use triisobutyl aluminium as the reducing agent here under N2 atmosphere, and also a co-ligand is used, that is diphenyl phosphinoethane. We have seen this ligand earlier. So this is also base dinitrogen complex, and the dinitrogen ligands are now trans with respect to each other, and DPPE, that is the bidentate phosphine ligand. So total coordination number of molybdenum essentially remains equal to 6, and 2 DBB ligands are present, and that is again a bis dinitrogen complex is formed when we use the alkyl aluminium as the reducing agent. In this case, the reaction is thought to be proceed first by formation of the an alkyl metal complex as the intermediate first, and then because this is an alkylating reagent and the isobutyl group will go and react with the molybdenum center over here to form a molybdenum alkyl complex, but then beta hydride elimination can take place from the such metal alkyls, and then we will again learn about such reactions later in more detail. But when beta hydride elimination takes place, the olefin group will leave the the complex, and then metal hydrides are essentially formed, and these metal hydrides after reaction with dinitrogen gives us the resulting this metal dinitrogen complexes as the final product. So that is how the reaction proceeds when we use the alkyl aluminium as the reducing agent. One can also use labile ligands or ligands which form labile metal ligand bonds, and then do reaction with dinitrogen to replace these labile ligands and then isolate metal dinitrogen complexes. So one example what we can see is, say, hexamethyl benzene chromium complex, that is chromium carbonyl complex if we take, and then do reaction or do photolytic substitution of one of the carbonyl ligand by the THF. We have discussed about this route for preparation of substituted metal carbonyl complexes while discussing about metal carbonyl complexes. So we prepare this carbonyl transfer agent over here by doing photolytic reaction and in THF, and then now if you do reaction with dinitrogen, you can replace the labile ligand, that is the THF ligand, and produce a dinitrogen complex like this. So again, direct reaction with dinitrogen, but in this case, we used a labile ligand which forms an intermediate with a labile metal ligand bond, and then now the ligand can be replaced by dinitrogen to give us the desired metal dinitrogen complex. So these are examples of preparation of metal dinitrogen complexes by direct reaction with dinitrogen. One can also take an alternative route, that is, one can use a ligand with NN linkage to prepare dinitrogen complex. We have already seen one example of a preparation of metal dinitrogen complexes by using a ligand with NN linkage, that is the first dinitrogen complex of the, that is the ruthenium dinitrogen complex, was prepared by using by reaction of a ruthenium salt with hydrazine hydrate, where there is the precursor reagent hydrazine contains a NN linkage, and from there the dinitrogen is essentially formed during the reaction. So one can use such reagents to prepare metal dinitrogen complexes, and we'll see one more example, that is by using the Vasquez reagent, Vasquez complex, that is trans, and then doing reaction with benzoyl azide, one can, now the azide acts as the source of dinitrogen here. Substitute the carbonyl ligand in this precursor Vasquez complex to give us a metal dinitrogen complex by using benzoyl azide as the reagent, and benzoyl isocyanate is going to be the byproduct that is going to be formed after it reacts with the Vasquez complex to give us the metal dinitrogen, iridium dinitrogen complex over here. So that is another way one can prepare metal dinitrogen complexes, that is with by reacting with ligands which have NN linkage, and from there one can generate the dinitrogen ligand. There is another method which can be used for preparation of metal dinitrogen complexes. So in this case, one can start with ligands containing only one nitrogen atom, and then go on preparing a dinitrogen ligand from ligands containing only one nitrogen atom. So for example, one can start with amine ligand and then do diazotization of the amine ligand using nitrous acid, and that will lead to formation of dinitrogen complexes essentially. But this particular route is of limited applicability and has been used very less number of times so far. That is what we can do. We can take a metal osmium dinitrogen complex as the precursor over here, and this upon reaction with nitrous acid or diazotization which is going to take place, and one of the ammonia ligand is going to get converted into dinitrogen after diazotization. So that is why what we will have, 4 ammonias is going to be left, and 2 dinitrogen ligands are present in this complex that is resulted after diazotization of the precursor complex. So these are some of the methods for preparation of dinitrogen complexes. Now, if you look at the structure of these metal dinitrogen complexes, you will observe three different types of binding modes. Of course, several binding modes are possible in this in case of dinitrogen as a ligand, but only three types of binding modes have been observed so far, and these are essentially where the nitrogen ligand binds to one metal center in this linear fashion. So we call this end-on terminal binding mode. While this end-on binding mode, the dinitrogen ligand can be bonded to two different metal centers in this way. So that is this is a bridging binding mode, and this is end-on bridging binding mode. Now, side-on binding modes have also been discovered, but side-on terminal binding mode has not been observed so far, and only side-on bridging binding mode has been observed. So, essentially, two different types of side-on binding modes. This is metal. Or one can also have this sort of binding mode, bridging binding mode, that is side on bridging binding mode. Both of these two are side on bridging binding mode. In this case, both the nitrogen atoms are attached to the metal centers here, while in this case only one of the metal center is attached to the one of the nitrogen center is attached to the metal centers here. So these are the binding modes of the dinitrogen ligand observed in different dinitrogen complexes. Now we'll go and see the bonding in case of dinitrogen complexes or the orbitals which are involved in bonding involved with interact with metal orbitals in case of metal dinitrogen complexes. So let us quickly draw the molecular orbital diagram of dinitrogen. It's a homodinuclear molecule with electronic configuration 2sp 2s2 2p2. And the molecular orbital diagram for dinitrogen is similar to what we have for carbon monoxide. This is the energy scale. So these are the 2s, 2s, because they are completely filled, and 2p, 2p. Again, due to sp mixing, the order of energy of these molecular orbitals are similar to what we have in case of carbon monoxide, that is 2p, 2p. So pi 2p, this is sigma 2p, pi star 2p, and sigma star 2p molecular orbital. 3 electrons on both sides. If we put total 6 electrons, so this is how it is. This is the HOMO, and this is the LUMO of the dinitrogen ligand. So now one reason, the reason why there are few numbers of metal dinitrogen complexes, or reason why dinitrogen is highly unreactive in nature is because the HOMO is highly stabilized here, and the LUMO is highly destabilized. There is a difference in energy between the HOMO and the LUMO is very high. This is unstabilized. In fact, the difference in energy between the HOMO and LUMO is equal to 8.6 electron volt, which is very high, and the lack of any orbital between this HOMO and LUMO, or lack of any orbital in the energy range between the HOMO and LUMO, because this is too highly stabilized and this is highly unstabilized, and that is why no molecular orbital is present which can participate in bonding with other molecules, and that is the reason essentially why the dinitrogen molecule is highly unreactive in nature, because removing these electrons or filling these orbitals both are not very prominent and not very likely is going to take place very is not very likely, and the orbitals which are involved in binding with metal orbitals we have identified now. This is so the sigma 2p, that is the HOMO, and the pi star 2p, that is the LUMO. So the bonding again with metal orbitals for the dinitrogen complexes is similar to what we see in case of the carbonyl ligand. So here the that is the sigma 2p molecular orbital donates electrons to empty metal d orbital. So that is the sigma bonding, and the metal orbitals which are filled can donate back to the pi star molecular orbital of carbon monoxide. So these are the two types of interactions, that is pi back bonding interaction is also present. Sigma bonding, that is from a filled 2p orbital of molecular orbital of sigma 2p molecular orbital of dinitrogen to empty metal d orbital, that is sigma bonding interaction, and from filled metal d orbitals again electron can be transferred to the empty pi star 2p molecular orbital of dinitrogen, which is essentially by back bonding interaction, and that is the reason why the metal to nitrogen, and due to this again there is synergistic relation between the sigma bonding and pi back bonding interaction, as we have seen in case of metal carbonyl complexes, and the metal to nitrogen bond distance in metal dinitrogen complexes essentially is shorter than what we see in case of only sigma donor ligands like ammonia. So the metal to nitrogen bond distance is going to be short here than what you see in case of metal, say, to nitrogen bond distance in case of amine complexes, metal amine complexes, where there is only single bond interaction, only sigma bond is present. While in case of metal dinitrogen complexes, there is also pi back bonding, and due to this pi back bonding, the metal nitrogen bond distance decreases. Also, because electrons during this pi back bonding interaction, electrons are essentially transferred to a pi star 2p molecular orbital of dinitrogen, so it is going to decrease the nitrogen-nitrogen bond distance. So the pi back bonding interaction essentially we can see a nitrogen-nitrogen bond, and that should be visible when we look at the NN bond distance in case of the metal dinitrogen complexes. So when one measures the NN bond distances in metal dinitrogen complexes, what one observed is that the NN bond distance is roughly around 120 12 picometer in case of metal dinitrogen complexes, but the NN bond distance in case of uh, free nitrogen molecule is equal to 109 picometers. So again, there is a small increase in the NN bond distance because the bond distance has increased only by 3 picometer after the dinitrogen complex is formed, and that is why this is not a good way to measure the back bonding interaction in case of metal dinitrogen complexes, because again, if you look at the metal to nitrogen nitrogen double bond distance, say for example in case of diazomethane, what you will see, the bond distance is equal to 124 picometer, which is substantially longer than what you see for metal nitrogen bond distance in metal dinitrogen complexes. And nitrogen nitrogen single bond distance, that is say for example in case of hydrazine, is equal to 147 picometer, which is also quite higher than what we see in case of this nitrogen-nitrogen bond distance in metal dinitrogen complexes. So NN bond distance or measuring NN bond distances is not a good way to understand or estimate the extent of pi back bonding in case of metal dinitrogen complexes, and instead of this one can look at the NN stretching vibrations in metal dinitrogen complexes and compare the same with NN stretching vibration in dinitrogen, and then estimate the pi back bonding interaction in case of these complexes. So the dinitrogen molecule as such has no polarity, and there is no dipole moment, and that is why this is IR inactive. But one can look at the Raman spectra, and the NN stretching vibration in the Raman spectra is equal to 2331 centimeter inverse. So in case of metal dinitrogen complexes, this NN stretching vibration becomes IR active, and also it is a highly intense stretching. This stretching vibration is observed as a intense signal. The reason why it becomes intense now, because the NN linkage is essentially polarized, and the in case of the metal dinitrogen complexes, and instead of what you see in case of only free dinitrogen where there is no dipole moment, in this case the NN bond is polarized, while this nitrogen which is attached to the metal center is now positively charged, while the other nitrogen atom, that is the terminal nitrogen atom, is essentially negatively charged, and because of this reason, the NN bond will now, the NN bond stretching vibration will be observed as a intense signal in case of IR in the IR spectra, and the NN stretching vibration also decreases the frequency of the NN stretching vibration essentially decreases due to reduction in the bond order, as we have seen due to the pi back bonding. The NN bond essentially gets weakened, and there's the electrons are transferred to the anti-bonding pi star 2p molecular orbital of dinitrogen, and in case of metal dinitrogen complexes, the NN stretching vibration is essentially observed around 1930 to 2100 centimeter inverse in different metal dinitrogen complexes. Depending upon the co-ligand that is present, this value is going to be different. We will see one example where one can directly look at the extent of pi back bonding depending upon the electron density on the metal center. So if you take this chromium dinitrogen complexes, that is C6H6 Cr CO2 N2, the NN stretching vibration in this particular compound is 2145 centimeter inverse. While if you substitute the hydrogen atoms in the benzene ligand over here, if you substitute 3 of the hydrogen ligands by using methyl groups, that is, if you take mesitylene instead of benzene over here, due to the inductive effect of the methyl groups, the metal center is now going to be more electron rich, and that is why the extent of pi back donation to the dinitrogen ligand is going to be more, and the NM stretching vibration is going to decrease. So it decreases to 2135 centimeter inverse, and instead of mesityrene, if you take completely substituted benzene, that is hexamethyl benzene, and again look at the NL stretching vibration, you will see in this case it decreases substantially to 2112 centimeter inverse. So from this example, what we see, as we increase the electron density on the metal center, the NN stretching vibration decreases substantially, because now the extent of back donation to the pi star 2p molecular orbital of dinitrogen has increased, and the NN stretching vibration, that is why, decreases upon increasing the electron density on the metal center. So we will now look at the reactivity of these dinitrogen complexes. As such, looking at the reactivity of these dinitrogen complexes is very difficult because of the instability of these dinitrogen complexes, and they essentially undergo three different types of reaction. That is, first type of reaction that we can discuss is the oxidation reaction. So one can under oxidative conditions, the the complexes containing dinitrogen ligand gets oxidized, and the dinitrogen is essentially released from such complexes. So that is 4. And when chlorine, which is a good oxidizing agent, this is 2 Cl and 3, so this is equal to 3. So the oxidation has taken place now. The metal is now oxidized, because earlier it was in class 2 oxidation state. Now in this case, the osmium metal now is in class 3 oxidation state, and the dinitrogen ligand is now lost from the complex, or released from the complex, and it is no longer, the dinitrogen is no longer present in the complex. So that is the resulting complex over here. That is, so such dinitrogen complexes are highly susceptible to undergo oxidation and decomposition thereafter to result complexes without the dinitrogen ligand. And another type of reaction that these dinitrogen complexes undergo is the exchange of the dinitrogen ligand. That is, for stable dinitrogen complexes, other ligands can get exchanged, but for unstable dinitrogen complexes, the dinitrogen ligand will get exchanged with other ligands. So we'll see examples of both of these two type of reactions: exchange reaction, that is. So one can use this monodentate phosphine ligand, and instead of that, if you do reaction now with a bidentate phosphine ligand, DPPE, so you can replace the phosphine ligands, and the dinitrogen ligand will remain intact in this case because it is a stable dinitrogen complex. The metal is very highly electron rich, and the ligands are also all sigma donor, pi donor type of ligands, and that is why and no other pi acceptor ligands are present, and that is why the metal to nitrogen bond in this case is highly stable and it is retained during this exchange reaction. But in some cases, where the dinitrogen complex is weak, it can easily get exchanged with other Lewis acid to give us product which does not contain the dinitrogen ligand, or it is getting exchanged with the other Lewis bases. Sorry, here. So we have seen two different types of reactions of metal dinitrogen complexes. In one case, they undergo oxidation reaction, and the other case, they undergo exchange reaction. We'll see one more type of reaction, that is where the dinitrogen complex essentially acts as a nucleophile or Lewis base. Now, we have already discussed that the NN bond is polarized when it is connected to the metal center, that is this particular nitrogen atom which is attached to the metal center is bears a small positive charge, while the terminal nitrogen atom bears a small negative charge. So now this can act as a Lewis base or as nucleophile to react with other complexes. So if you take this sort of a um, binuclear complex where dinitrogen is essentially bridging both the metal centers is formed because of the polarity of the dinitrogen ligand in this precursor complex, and essentially because it can act as now as a nucleophile and then come and react uh, with the metal center in the another precursor complex here. So that is how this binuclear uh, complex where dinitrogen acts as a bridging ligand is essentially formed. So this essentially brings us to the end of this lecture. We have discussed about the importance of metal dinitrogen chemistry, the reason why there is interest in metal dinitrogen chemistry because of the involvement of these metal dinitrogen species in two important processes. First is the biological dinitrogen fixation, where ammonia is produced by nitrogenase enzyme, and also in the other case where ammonia can be prepared from reaction of nitrogen with hydrogen in presence of different transition metal catalyst. And in both the cases, it is thought that transition metal dinitrogen intermediates are essentially involved, and if one can prepare a route to reduce dinitrogen or activate dinitrogen from atmosphere to ammonia by preparing such metal dinitrogen complexes, then it is going to be of lot of industrial importance, as ammonia is very important for our survival. The next what we discussed about the synthesis of different synthetic routes for preparation of metal dinitrogen complexes. We have seen how one can do direct reaction with dinitrogen under highly reducing atmosphere to produce metal dinitrogen complexes. We have also seen how one can use the metal carbonyl transfer agents to prepare dinitrogen complexes by reacting such metal carbonyl transfer agents with dinitrogen directly. We have also seen another preparative method where ligands with NN linkage can essentially be used as source of dinitrogen, and we have seen how one can use this benzoyl azide as a reagent to produce metal dinitrogen complexes. And the last method of preparation of metal dinitrogen complexes essentially involved a reaction or diazotization of ammonia ligand in metal amine complexes and subsequent preparation of metal dinitrogen ligand. So after that we discussed about the binding different modes of binding of the dinitrogen ligand in such complexes, and we have seen that the end-on terminal and end-on bridging and the side-on bridging are the primary binding modes of the dinitrogen ligand. We have also discussed about the orbitals which are involved in interaction with the orbitals of dinitrogen which are involved or which interact with metal orbitals to in while formation of these metal dinitrogen complexes. And we have seen that there are two different types of interactions. One is the sigma donor interaction from the where the electron density is essentially transferred from the dinitrogen ligand to the metal center, and there is another type of interaction where the electron density is essentially transferred from the metal to the pi star 2p molecular orbital of dinitrogen, and we have seen the consequences of such pi back donation because the NN stretching vibration in metal dinitrogen complexes are much lower than what you see in case of the free the NN stretching vibration in case of the free dinitrogen ligand, and this is the evidence which allows us to see or compare the extent of pi back donation in different metal dinitrogen complexes. We have also discussed about the reactivity of metal dinitrogen complexes, and we have seen that these metal dinitrogen complexes essentially undergo three different types of reaction. One is oxidation reaction, because they are highly unstable. They may undergo oxidation in presence of oxidizing agents, and the dinitrogen ligand is essentially lost during this process. Also, they undergo exchange reaction with other ligands, and in this case both dinitrogen may be exchanged or other ligands may also be exchanged depending upon the stability of the metal nitrogen bond in such complexes. And thirdly, we have seen how these dinitrogen ligands can be used as nucleophiles to prepare different binuclear metal dinitrogen complexes, where the dinitrogen ligand essentially acts as a bridging ligand. So with this, let me conclude this lecture. Thank you very much for being with me during this lecture.